Marcus Aurelius said, "He who angers you conquers you. He who obsesses over you owns you." Have you ever wondered why the man who's emotionally detached, who doesn't call back immediately, who seems unbothered by rejection, often ends up being the one women chase? Why do women crave the man who doesn't chase them? This video is not about tricks, manipulation, or pickup games. It's about psychological truth and Stoic mastery. Because here's the hard truth. The more available you are, the less value you seem to have. Women don't want a man who worships them. They want a man who commands himself, a man whose time, emotions, and energy are sacred. In this video, you'll learn 10 deep psychological and Stoic reasons why women are drawn to men who are hard to get, hard to shake, and hard to manipulate. Not because he plays games, but because he plays life by his own rules. Watch this video till the end, and you'll understand why emotional control is more attractive than muscles, why saying no makes you irresistible, why chasing ruins attraction and detachment builds it, and why Stoicism makes you the rare man she respects and desires. Let's begin. Number 1. Scarcity breeds value. The man who is rare is desired. Seneca said, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality." In economics, scarcity drives demand. In attraction, emotional scarcity does the same. When something is everywhere, it becomes background noise. When something is rare, it becomes obsession. Most men today give too much, too fast, constant texting, over-explaining feelings, always available at her convenience, saying yes to avoid rejection. And yet, they're ignored, ghosted, or friend-zoned. Why? Because they made themselves emotionally cheap. The Stoic man, however, guards his time and energy like treasure. He's not cold, he's selective. He doesn't give everyone access to his mind, attention, or presence. Women feel this. They sense a man who doesn't need their attention, the feel-hole. And that's exactly what makes him irresistible. When you're not easily moved by her beauty, when you don't rush to validate her every move, when you hold your ground instead of chasing, you become the rare man in a world of overeager boys. And that contrast, it burns into her psychology. She asks, why isn't he texting back immediately? Why doesn't he seem impressed? What is he focused on that's more important than me? Now she's emotionally investing. She's thinking about you. You're not chasing her. You're living in her mind. That's the power of scarcity. It's not manipulation. It's Stoic self-worth. You're not playing hard to get. You're being hard to reach because you know your value. Number 2, the masculine polarity. Why emotional control creates magnetic tension. Marcus Aurelius said, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." Let's break something down that most modern men don't understand. Masculinity and femininity are polar energies. One leads, one flows, one is rooted in stillness, the other in movement. One protects, the other expresses. In the dance of desire, feminine energy is drawn to the masculine not because of appearance, but because of presence. And what defines presence? Stillness, control, direction. The man who plays hard isn't playing games. He's simply unshaken. He doesn't get pulled by every emotion, doesn't chase every whim, doesn't need to perform. And that stillness, it's magnetic. Women are highly attuned to emotion. When a man is flustered, reactive, or needy, she feels it instantly. It's not logical. It's energetic. So when she throws a test, when she delays a reply, when she acts unpredictable or moody, she's unconsciously asking, are you the man who can hold his ground when I can't? If your peace crumbles at the first sign of feminine chaos, you're not masculine. You're reactive. And once she senses that, respect disappears. But the Stoic man, He doesn't chase, doesn't react, doesn't seek external validation. His mission, his values, his discipline, those are his anchors. He's centered. That's what makes him the one she comes back to. That's what makes her nervous when he's silent. That's what makes her desire his approval, but never feel entitled to it. When a woman sees a man who's emotionally grounded, it triggers an ancient response. This is the one I can trust with my chaos. Because he's not just playing hard. He's built hard from the inside out. Number 3, rejection is attraction. Why indifference creates curiosity. Seneca said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." There's a strange, almost brutal truth in the psychology of desire. The more indifferent you are, the more interesting you become. Now, this doesn't mean you fake coldness or pretend not to care. It means your life is so full, your mission so clear, your mind so disciplined, that no single person can dominate your emotional weather. And that, my friend, is power. Women don't want to be rejected, but they are obsessed with a man who can reject them. Why? Because it shows you have standards. Because it tells her you're not chasing validation. Because it communicates that you won't be controlled by beauty, charm, or seduction. The Stoic man isn't afraid of rejection. He's selective. He doesn't chase. He filters. And when something isn't aligned with his values, he walks away. Here's what happens when a man operates from true indifference. She starts wondering if she wasn't good enough for you. She starts watching your stories, looking for clues. She becomes emotionally invested in the mystery of you. It's reverse attraction. You didn't chase her, and now she's chasing clarity. Why? Because you demonstrated you are the chooser, not the beggar. Indifference is not disrespect. It's emotional self-respect. It shows you don't need anyone to validate your worth. You're already rooted in who you are, and when that energy radiates from you, it activates her curiosity at a soul level. She begins to ask, what makes him so sure of himself? Why isn't he like the others? What does he know that I don't? And when curiosity grows, so does desire. That's why playing hard isn't a tactic. It's a symptom of a man who doesn't fold. So stop fearing rejection. Let her feel the weight of your absence. That's when she'll truly recognize the value of your presence. Number 4, attention is a currency and you're the bank. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you'll find strength. In today's hyperconnected world, attention is the new gold. And yet, most men spend it like they have unlimited reserves. Constant texting, overliking her posts, replying instantly, oversharing emotions too early. What does this tell her? That your attention is cheap, that your energy is abundant, that your time is easy to buy. But the Stoic man knows better. He treats his attention like a bank. Not everyone gets a loan. Not every emotional inquiry gets a deposit. Not every beautiful face earns interest. Here's the truth most men don't realize. The moment you give your full attention too early, the chase dies, the mystery vanishes, the balance of power tips. And she no longer needs to earn your presence. She assumes it's guaranteed. But when your attention is limited, focused, and intentional, you instantly stand out. She starts to value the way you look her in the eyes without saying much, the silence between your responses, the unpredictability of when and how you engage. You're not playing hard to get. You're signaling, my time is valuable. You'll have to meet me there. This doesn't just make you attractive. It makes you respected because she feels it. You're not the man who texts 100 times and hopes for a reply. You're the man who texts once with clarity and walks away if it's not reciprocated. You don't waste attention. You invest it. You're not emotionally cheap. You're psychologically expensive. And in the marketplace of modern dating, The man who controls his attention controls the frame. Women respect a man who's not afraid to withhold energy, because that's the man whose energy is truly worth earning. Number 5, no is a new alpha. Why refusal triggers respect. Epictetus said, "A man who has not mastered himself will always be a slave to others." Want to know one of the fastest ways to gain a woman's respect? Say no, not with aggression, not with ego, but with calm, confident, unapologetic clarity. In a world where men are trained to accommodate, appease, and avoid discomfort, the man who draws a firm line becomes rare and unforgettable. Modern dating has taught men to fear rejection, but it's really the inability to reject that makes you weak. The man who can't say no goes to places he hates, pays for things he can't afford, agrees to labels, terms, and timelines that disrespect him, ends up being the nice guy she walks all over and eventually leaves. Why? Because deep down, even she knows. You're not leading, you're following. But the Stoic man, he understands that no is sacred. He says, "No, I don't tolerate disrespect. No, I won't compromise my purpose for a fling. No, I'm not here to impress. I'm here to express." And when he says no, he doesn't flinch, because he's not afraid to lose people who try to cross his values. Here's the paradox. The more willing you are to walk away, the more power you hold. The more you respect your time, energy, and standards, the more she does too. Saying no is not rejection. It's direction. It tells the world, this is who I am, this is what I accept, and this is where I draw the line. You become the mountain, immovable, and she becomes a river, drawn to flow around you. In her eyes, you're not playing hard to get. You're just hard to sway. That's the man who earns her fascination. That's the man she starts to chase, not because he's distant, but because he's defined. Number 6, the man on a mission, purpose first, pleasure later. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Here's one truth that will separate you from 99% of men. Women don't fall for the man who chases them. They fall for the man who chases his mission. You've heard it said, she wants a man who's busy. But it's not busyness she craves, it's direction. She wants a man who has something more important than her, because only that man can lead her. Only that man can anchor her chaos. Only that man can be trusted with power, because he's already mastered himself. Too many men today build their lives around women. They skip gym sessions to take her to dinner. They abandon goals just to spend more time. They slow down their mission the moment a woman shows interest, and she senses it instantly. He doesn't belong to anything bigger than me. And now, subconsciously, she must lead. And the feminine doesn't want to lead. The Stoic man knows. Purpose must come before pleasure. He wakes up with a goal. He's building something timeless. He's not emotionally available 24/7 because he's occupied by greatness. And the paradox? The less you make her your mission, the more magnetized she becomes. Because your ambition says, "I don't chase, I build. You're welcome to walk beside me, but I'm not changing course to follow you." That doesn't make you emotionally cold. It makes you a man of gravity. When you become a force that pulls life toward you, not the leaf blown by every wind, you become the rare man she respects, admires, and desires. Your purpose becomes a throne. Your discipline, the armor. Your legacy, the kingdom. And if she's wise, she'll want a place in it. Number 7, space creates desire. Why mystery drives female curiosity. Marcus Aurelius said, "To love only what happens, what was destined. No greater harmony." Let me ask you something most men never consider. Why are we most obsessed with what we don't fully understand? Because mystery fuels imagination. And imagination is the birthplace of desire. You see, in the age of social media, constant texting, video calls, and 24/7 availability, most men give women unlimited access without making them earn any of it. But access without effort kills curiosity. And when curiosity dies, so does attraction. The Stoic man understands the power of strategic distance. He doesn't disappear, but he's not always available. He shows glimpses of his life, but never lays it all bare. He speaks with clarity, but not with desperation. He knows that presence is powerful, but absence is magnetic. Here's what happens when you create space. She begins to wonder where your attention has gone. She replays your last interaction, trying to decode your intentions. She feels a tension, not of abandonment, but of mystery. And here's the kicker. The more mental space you occupy, without being physically present, the more emotionally invested she becomes. Space creates contrast. It creates depth. And in the world of relationships, depth always beats surface-level intensity. You're not ignoring her. You're giving her room to lean in, to wonder, to imagine, to desire. Think of a beautiful painting in a gallery. If it's always in front of you, every hour of the day, you stop noticing the details. But if you only catch a glimpse once in a while, you begin to appreciate it deeply. Mystery doesn't mean silence. It means selectivity. Only the man who isn't afraid of space can generate real intimacy, not through constant words, but through rare presence. And that's what makes her say, "There's something about him. I can't figure it out, and I need to know more." Number 8, high standards are irresistible. Stop being easy to please. Seneca said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." There's a secret no one tells men. Being easy to please doesn't make you more attractive. It makes you more forgettable. Think about it. If you agree with everything, if you tolerate anything, if you accept disrespect, inconsistency, or mediocrity without pushback, you're not being kind. You're being conquered. Modern dating often paints high standards as toxic, controlling, or arrogant. But women instinctively admire the man who holds the line. Why? Because high standards signal self-worth, discipline, vision. A Stoic man doesn't raise a standard for others. He raises them for himself, and only allows those into his life who respect that foundation. He doesn't say, "I'll take whatever I can get." He says, "I know who I am, and only those aligned with my path may walk beside me." This doesn't mean being harsh or judgmental. It means being principled. When you have standards, 3 things happen. 1, low-quality behavior filters itself out. You won't even need to argue. 2, high-quality women recognize your rarity. They've seen the clowns, now they see the king. 3, you build inner strength, because upholding standards in the face of temptation requires fortitude. And let's be real, when you're hard to please, you force others to level up. And when she feels like she had to rise in order to earn your attention, she values it. That's not manipulation. That's leadership. So stop shrinking yourself to be accepted. Stop tolerating disrespect just to be liked. Raise the bar and hold it. You'll lose the wrong ones, but you'll command the attention of the one who sees you not just as a man, but as a mission. Number 9, unapologetic masculinity. Why owning your energy attracts her instinctively. Zeno of Citium said, "Man conquers the world by conquering himself." There's a quiet crisis among modern men. They've been conditioned to apologize for being masculine, to tone it down, to play safe, to be softer, quieter, more acceptable. And in doing so, many have diluted the very essence that makes them desirable. Unapologetic masculine energy, not the loud, toxic kind, not the insecure, controlling kind, but the calm, grounded, unshakable presence that says, I know who I am. I don't need validation to exist. This energy is rare. It's not performative. It's not about trying to impress. It's about walking into a room with zero anxiety, zero neediness, because your value is self-sourced. You own your voice. You own your gaze. You own your power, not to dominate others, but to lead yourself. And here's what happens when you own that energy. Women feel it instinctively. You don't need to prove. You just are. Other men respect it. Even if they don't understand it, they sense it. You become magnetic without effort, not because you're loud, but because you're rooted. The Stoic man doesn't swing between arrogance and passivity. He stands still like a mountain. He leads not with noise, but with direction. He's not reactive. He's aware. He doesn't compete. He creates. Owning your masculinity doesn't mean being immune to emotion. It means being in command of it. It means embodying presence, purpose, and quiet power. When a woman feels that from you, it stirs something ancient in her. Not fear, not control, but reverence, because she sees it. You're not trying to be a man. You are one, and you don't apologize for it. Number 10, be the mountain, the Stoic man she can't ignore. Marcus Aurelius said, stand firm like a rock in which the waves continually beat against. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it. There's something awe-inspiring about a mountain. It doesn't move for anyone. It doesn't chase storms or run from them. It simply stands, grounded, silent, strong, and yet it shapes everything around it. This is the energy of the Stoic man, the man who is not trying to be desired, but becomes irresistible through his presence, the man who doesn't respond to every emotional wave, but instead lets chaos crash against him and fall still. Because she may laugh, test, tease, withdraw, provoke, but she's watching for one thing. Can he be shaken? And when she sees that you can't be pulled into emotional games, when she realizes you won't beg, chase, or lower yourself, when she senses that you'd rather walk away than bend your values, she feels something she can't explain. Respect, admiration, attraction, not because you played hard to get, but because you were hard to move. Being the mountain doesn't mean being emotionally numb. It means your emotions are contained, not scattered. Your purpose is centered, not hijacked. Your self-worth is rooted, not borrowed. In a world of desperate approval seekers, the man who stands tall in his truth becomes a rare signal in the noise. She might test you. She might push you. She might try to shake you. But when you stay still, unapologetically still, she'll come closer just to feel your gravity. Final Stoic advice: become unshakable, become desired. If you've made it this far, then you already feel it. You're not here to be liked. You're here to be respected. You're not here to beg for attention. You're here to command presence. Women are not confused. They're instinctual. They're drawn not to chaos, but to the man who is untouched by it. So stop chasing. Stop explaining. Stop folding. Let her feel the silence when you don't react. Let her wonder what you're focused on when you're not replying. Let her rise to meet your standard or move aside. This is not game. This is not strategy. This is self-mastery. You are not here to impress women. You are here to become the kind of man that women can't ignore, because you've built yourself into a force, a mountain, a mystery, a mission. And that kind of man, he's not found in dating apps. He's forged in silence, purpose, and discipline. Marcus Aurelius said, be tolerant with others, but strict with yourself. That's the code. That's the compass. That's the path. So if you're ready to walk it, subscribe to Stoic Desire. Every week, we don't just talk. We train. We sharpen our minds. We discipline our emotions. We rise above the noise. Because In a world full of boys chasing attention, we build men who command respect. No more begging, no more chasing, no more breaking. Only presence, only power, only peace. This is Stoic Desire, and your journey starts now.